And I say that because people, they look at buildings or growth or whatever, and they say, I want that. Do you want to watch your dad die? Do you want to go 31 days without walking? Do you want to have 12 people get COVID on Easter Sunday morning, one dies, and then you get publicly blamed for it on social media?
Whew. Yeah.
Do you want to get COVID and I had to go get an infusion while I qualified, my wife didn't qualify, and I'm watching her in the bed suffering with COVID, only to take her to the hospital and don't see her for a week because they put her on a ventilator? You see stuff, but you don't know stories behind it. And that's not even all of it. You want to go on vacation and get bit by something, you don't know what you're bit by, only to come back for your entire leg to be purple, and you have to be rushed to Baylor, and you stay in Baylor, and the CDC and every doctor in America is coming over there trying to figure out what's wrong with you.
I pass on all that.
I mean, like, you know.
But this is what really happens.
Yeah.
Real life.
I've preached the funerals of the only person I didn't preach was my grandmother, my mom's mom, because I wasn't preaching at the time. Well, and my grandmother, my dad's mom. I preached my grandfather, I preached my dad, I preached my uncles. I preached, all of my uncles. I preached cousins. Do you want to do that? Because there's a price that comes with this. Because God ain't just going to hand it to you. You got to go through some stuff. And people be like, oh no, you ain't got to go through. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You might have to get sick yourself. You trust God and tell people, give your tithes, give your offering, trust God. Do you trust him when you get sick though, that God can still, the same healing that you spoke, by his stripes you're healed. Do you still believe that for your life? That's what comes with this. And people think, oh, it's just do a couple of fundraisers, get some click tracks, preach a sermon that makes people feel good, and life is good.
And it don't work that way.
Nah.
Yeah. I first learned that from Bishop Donald Butler. He's out in Forest Hill, Texas. That's actually church my parents met in. The church was in California at first. Okay. Now they're out here, so my parents met in California. And long story short, that's how we ended up in Texas.
Yeah.
But he's always talked about having his own church building. And then had to move to Texas, and they're in a house.
Yeah.
And they're in the elementary school, and they get a building, and then that don't last too long.
Yeah.
They're back in the school, and things just aren't going. And the membership goes from something somebody would be proud of to something somebody would be like, hey, don't even worry about coming to my church.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that, without the funds to do, with all the chaos that life brings, that's when he starts to, with his own hands, build his church.
Yeah.
Now, how he was able to build it is a miracle, because he didn't have, long story short, if God didn't provide, he wasn't going to get the land.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't going to get the rebar.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to get the wood.
Yeah.
Not a single thing if God didn't step in.
Absolutely.
Hey, what you just saw is a clip from our show, How Pastors Are Made, where we go through the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups and the downs of becoming a pastor. We appreciate you for watching. Pretty please hit that like button and definitely hit the subscribe button. If there's a pastor that you want us to speak to, please let us know. If you enjoyed this conversation, then the link to the entire conversation is in the description. Also, we have plenty more conversations with other pastors. We would love for you to watch those as well. If there's a pastor you want us to speak to, again, let us know who the pastor is. If you are a pastor watching this and you want to tell your story on how pastors are made, there's a link in the description. It gives us a little bit of information so that we can contact you and schedule a date to record so you can have the next episode of How Pastors Are Made. With that being said, God bless you. We love you all. Find somebody and find a way to do something good.